Okay, I'm at the mail. And oh my goodness, look at it, it's in a cute little box. A friend sent something. Oh my goodness. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh my goodness, it's a ring. I thought it was a pin. Oh, it's a ring. Wow. Wow, it's stunning. Well, now I'm gonna have to go to some, oh, it's so pretty. Look at that. It's gorgeous. Wow. I love it. That is beautiful. And, oh, can't get it off. I'm gonna have to use butter. Ah, my finger. I got arthritis. Hey everybody. Monica King here, King's Titan Homestead. So I got back to this back bee yard and, oh, where did I put, well, there it is, my hive tool. So I got back to this back bee yard and found one of the hives was pushed over by a coyote. Luckily, that hive was Africanized and the coyote did not get anything except for a very hard lesson to learn. But because I had to put them back together, I've already disturbed some bees, and these are the bees that are still kind of angry about their whole situation. I don't know how long they were laying like that because I haven't been back to this bee yard in 3 or 4 days. So they were already starting to build a little comb. I was a little worried that the queen was gone, but she had made it through that. They basically was a double deep that kind of just like fell over. So pushed over actually is the better terminology. But since I was in there and they were getting low on room, as an Africanized donor hive, I try to keep them smaller. I actually like to try to keep them down to a deep, but I haven't had time to work them a lot. So I took from them one of their frames of brood and 2 frames of honey. So that's going to start out this colony that we did a removal from the shed floor that we already took 2 established colonies from over the last couple weeks. I'll share that right now. Oh, Dan's texting me. Kind of doing some, they're really tiny. Yeah, they are tiny. I noted that when they were going in. Okay, so they got another one, right? Brand new. It's the scent of that shed floor. It's been recommended that you just pull the shed, put a concrete slab down, and then put the shed on top of it. But the homeowner is up there in age, really doesn't care. He's like, not doing that. So basically, the recommendation is take the shed completely out. It's a goner. So let's see what we got here. These bees were less than 2 weeks old. We don't know exactly when they moved in. It had to be from in between when we were there doing the removal. And so basically what we're gonna do here, I'm just gonna check, make sure we got the queen, not that she ran anywhere. Pretty sure we got her. I have so much stuff to do. Oh my gosh. So this everything back needs this fixed. A friend of mine has one and she says she didn't get a plastic thingy, and I'm like, well dang, I wish mine wasn't a plastic thing. It's so brittle in our, it's not quality. So let's see what we got here. I have a queen excluder sat on top of my brood and the honey frames. So I'm just gonna kind of dump it once just to get a just to get some of the bees to come through. There's a lot of debris, you know, a lot of debris got sucked up, so I'm just gonna dump this actually first. Yeah, that was a bad move. Don't do that. Should have done that on the ground first. Now we'll do it with the bees. They're all kind of flying back into the everything vacuum bottom, so kind of know the queen is probably still in there. We will check the ground bees if we don't find her. I see her already. I saw her little butt. It looked like a whale, a whale tail. So let me show you her. All right, you can't miss this baby girl. She is beautiful. Everybody see her? For those that are not familiar with the queen bees, there she is, right here. Oops. Trying to do it left-handed. I'm not really good left-handed. Okay. I forgot a cover. I'll be right back. Okay. Because I gave them a frame of brood and a couple frames of honey, I am actually not going to leave excluders on these. I am just going to put a regular old style cover on it. Hopefully this cover's not, this cover looks like it's warped. Well, this is the time to start going through my equipment because I have a lot of old equipment. Guess I better start making an equipment pile where all the dud equipment is. Okay, I've been all over the place already doing different hive inspections, and then I said, you know what, you guys probably wouldn't mind being tagging along for the ride. So this hive here, this of course was another removal. That's what most all of my hives are. And they started, I believe they started raising their own queen. And there was a virgin out before I caught it. These are some little teeny bees. So since there was a virgin out and I killed her and I introduced my queen, I pretty much know that there is no chances of any queen cells inside the colony due to, you know, just doing the math on that. However, I don't trust bees, and I don't trust that there might not be a second virgin that I did not catch. I don't trust that there might have been an usurpation. So before I release my queen, I am going through making sure that there's no signs of anything, no eggs from another queen, anything like that. I'm also breaking down any of the old cells to make sure, you know, the ones that were chewed that the virgin had originally came out of. I'm taking all of that stuff down so that when I come in on the next inspection, I pretty much will know that anything fresh is something that I need to be concerned about. Okay, I'm looking for a nice drawn comb or partially drawn comb. This one looks pretty good. A lot of it's ugly here. That's all I got left, but that looks pretty good. So I'm putting this here, kind of maneuvering frames around. And then what I'm gonna do here next is I'm gonna release the queen. And then we're gonna come check, do a very light inspection in the next couple days, or actually 4 days, to make sure that she's still here and that she's my queen. So if you notice, I did not use candy on this one. I wanted to make sure that the release was done by me. Okay, and she just walked in. And now I'm going to give them a cover. And I'm not going to touch them. So, if you notice, I opened the cage and I did it like so close to the frames. If you do not do it close to the frames, you just do it in the air, the queen basically can fly away. So we don't want that to happen. We just want a really quick, nice introduction. We don't want to bang on anything. Let them be peaceful. Let them check the queen out. Remember, we are going from Africanized hybrid to European right now. So they're a little delicate. Okay, so on this one, I did kill their queen. And let me give them a little bit more smoke there. I did kill their queen. Then I knocked down queen cells 5 days later. Now I'm going to go back in. I'm going to check for more queen cells before I release the queen. Wow, they're being very quiet. Very nice. Good girls. Not so quiet anymore. They got nectar all in that. I'm going to turn this around so that it's more of a blank facing the queen's area. This was only like a 4-frame colony, not very strong. Okay, remember how I said I cut down queen cells? There's more. Ooh, dropped it. I have tendonitis in my right shoulder, but see, I had already come through it. I already cut down. There's more queen cells here after 5 days. These Africanized girls do this kind of thing. And one of the big things that I want to point out is that if you do not cut these down, make sure that there's no chance of them creating a queen cell. They will not accept that European queen. They're being pretty nice to the queen. I'm also checking to make sure that they're not like going crazy. check that out. Bunch of bald brood. After the queen introduction, I'll be giving them a mite treatment. Can't do it right now. Can't give a mite treatment during queen install. They're being pretty nice to the queen. They are not mauling her, bawling her, doing anything abnormal to her. I'm going to go ahead and do the release. And let her walk right in. Okay, she's out. I'm now just going to cover and say a prayer again. What I'm going to start doing is, well, after I get all of this stuff, I've got so much stuff to do, it's ridiculous. But anyway, I'm sure you've heard that from me before. After I get caught up with a bunch of stuff, what we're going to do when we come through and fix a bunch of the equipment, we're going to put numbers on the equipment. And then you will be able to follow that hive history from going from Africanized to European. And so that you can literally go, oh, was that the same one she worked like, you know, last week, or was that something different? We will actually mention what hive we're working. So if you, like, let's say you're the owner of the shed that we did the removal from, and that got put into like hive number, you know, 96 or something, we will mention that we're working hive number 96, and you can follow that hive through its progression of what we call Africanized honeybee rehab. Okay, this next hive is a little different. I don't have a stand for y'all, but this is a hive that friends of mine keep here. They come and help me in my bees, and so they keep a couple hives here with me. And they like running Africanized, and so their hive needed to be split, and I'm going in to make sure that the new Africanized queen that we introduced, how did Edita put it? Do you have any queens on death row? So, you know, ones that I'm going to be requeening, and I'm like, well, yeah, I don't keep all of mine Africanized, and they were like, well, we would like to have one. So I'm installing an Africanized queen into an Africanized worker bee colony right now. But again, I don't have space or a spot to sit. I don't have a spot to sit them. The camera. Actually, maybe we'll do it this way. So this is a triple. It's 2 deeps, 8-frame, 2 8-frame deeps. Okay, we have a problem though. When it was put back together last time, they put the ventilation disc on the wrong side. So we're gonna fix that. If I can lift this myself here. So one of the reasons why some people run 8 frames is because once they're all full of honey, it gets really heavy. So I believe I have to go down to the bottom. Maybe I did this. Maybe I put it on backwards last time without thinking. Okay, they're hanging around the queen cage. So when we were doing the split, they really didn't have much in the way of brood at all. They ran out of space. Yeah, I'm just going to release the queen. So this one here is in a JZBZ plastic cage. And it's got a cap on it, so I'm just going to pull the cap and then reinstall the cage. Okay, now they're put back correctly. Their new queen is released, and Adita Milos should be here on Sunday, and we'll recheck them then. Okay, this one is kind of, this one is a little frustrating. Again, the reason why I'm going to be doing the numbers on the hives in the future so that you can follow along is so you can believe me when I tell you some strange things. This one here, the queen was in a cage, and when I went in to release her, there was another queen in the colony laying eggs. So possibly an usurp, don't know. Maybe I missed a queen cell. I'll admit, things like that happen. Can't be perfect every time. So what we're gonna do here is just go through now and make sure that we gotta cut down any queen cells from the old queen. I'm gonna actually move a frame out because this is a honey frame, and we need to make sure that the new queen has space to lay. Man, the old queen was a pretty good laying. Look at that. She did pretty dang good. I shouldn't say the old queen, the queen that I didn't know where she came from is doing pretty good in here. I'm just, like I said, knocking down cells again, but then I'm going to, I'm making sure that there's no eggs, and then I'm going to release my queen. So no queen cells, no eggs. Oh, here's some queen cells. Actually, at least one. I'll double check this one. Make sure that there's no queen eggs. It's kind of difficult because, okay, this side had some empty spots and there's no eggs. Again, I'm going to move one empty frame in, put another frame out. And then I'm going to do a release on her. Okay. Put the frames together tight because there's a few foundation frames in here. Themselves a little honey box there. Okay, this next hive is a colony that Tess had brought in. Not sure what they came out of. Probably water meter is what I'm guessing. I would have to go back through all our texts to figure out, but I'm pretty sure that these were from a water meter. They were kind of starting to wreak a little havoc at the staging yard, but they had, and I'll be honest, been there too long. I should have picked them up a long time before I did, but I got them, and now I'm going to take a peek at them. Okay, you guys are a little bit away from where I'm working. I'll try to reposition. This is why you want to use an inner cover. They will glue the top down, which actually worked in my case this time. But if they glued it down any harder. Oh, and there's the queen. She's in the cover. Hold on. There she is. Tess gave her a little yellow dot. That is not a European. That is an Africanized queen. Boy, they're being really nice. I'm going to take her back over here. Come here, girlie. Come here. Okay. Let's see what you guys got going on over here. I'll give your mama back here for a minute. Okay, so I have a bunch of stuff that I'm going to sort, all about beekeeping. Try to get it organized. So the first stack is right here. I thought it'd be kind of interesting to see, and then you guys can tell me if there's anything that you might want me to go over. So this is the Honey Producer magazine, and it was put out by, I believe, the American Honey Producers Association. This one here is from 1999. I don't even know if they do this anymore. I think they might do something that, you know, on the internet. No longer any hard copies of anything. So I'm going to put this, and I'm going to create like a 3-ring binder, I think, for the Honey Producer magazine. This next one that I'm coming up on is probably a presentation. This is the cover, and the subject is Swarm Prevention is Honey Production. Isn't that the truth? So yeah, okay, so that's pretty cool. This might be something to follow up on, to see what they have to say. This was put on in January of 2000 by Walt Wright out of Tennessee at the American Honey Producers Association. So we'll just kind of look through that to see if there's anything usable in that might pertain to our situation here in Southern Arizona. So this one here, kind of interesting. It's Madera County Department of Agricultural Weights and Measures. It's basically about bee imports into the state of California, and it's talking about the red imported fire ants and the quarantines along with that. So a lot of this is like really great historical information, but a lot of people don't even care anymore. What I see a lot now is the beekeepers are like, okay, if we have a loss, we're just going to claim the loss, and we're going to go on a government program, and we're going to get reimbursed for that loss. But 9 out of 10 of these losses, I believe, are due to bad beekeeping. Gosh, what did my dad call that? Forget. Wish you were here, Dad, so you can tell me. Okay, so these I think I need to read through a little bit more. These might just get in a file, maybe about information in the past, should we ever need it. Yeah, it's all shipping bees into California and the red imported fire ant regulations. Here is another American Honey Producers Association symposium. Basically talks about what is going to be talked about in the year 2000. I'm just going to set that aside as well. Yeah, mostly fire. Look at that, fire ants, fire ants, fire ants, fire ants. Here we have another American Honey Producers magazine. Gets that organized. Problems with queen banks. A article done by a gentleman from Poland. J. Woik. I'm going to put that again into the articles. I have a spot. What I'll do is I'll do article area and I'll do a presentation area to kind of get an idea on those things. So this one here. Okay, so this is a 1993 questionnaire from the United States International Trade Commission. And this one talks about, it's a questionnaire pertaining to the United States International Trade investigation concerning honey. I'm going to set that over there. Oh, here's another one, problems with Queen Banks. That's a duplicate, but that'll be good to file together. This is a model honeybee certification plan put out by Al Dietz, Dr. Al Dietz of the Beltsville lab, which is being shut down. So, okay. It's just a recommendation for certification. I don't know. I'll put that aside here. This is the 1994 almond pollination price schedule from a, it looks like Scientific Ag, so maybe a middleman. So if your colony strength in 1994 was 8 frames or better, you got a whopping $41. And if you had 5 to 6 frames of bees, you got $36. And if you had 3 to 4 frames of bees, you had $32. A no frame guarantee, you got paid $29. And 10 frames or better of bees, you got $47.50. And I love these kind of things. History is really important to me, and you know, I'm one of those people that feels as though, you know, if you don't study history, you're going to be doomed to repeat it. So yeah, I really do love the idea of being able to, you know, save these documents so that we can go back on them should we need to read them in the future. This is just such a mess. It really, really needs organized. So here's one, formic acid and bee mites. And this was put out May in 1991. So I'm going to separate the articles completely. Just the articles are all articles here, all this there, that kind of thing. And then I'll go back through and individually separate them out according to topic. Okay, so the next one here, 1989 insect pest management for cotton. This is going to get so confusing to get it. No wonder it's such a mess. It's just confusing to get it all organized. This is a codex standard for sugars or honey. First edition, Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations. Okay. This is cool. All right, so this, maybe we should put this in a separate spot for like doing a future talk on. And then maybe look up today's codex. Yeah, interesting. Okay. Okay, so this whole file claims that the file is all about fluvalinate. And it is. Yep. All about fluvalinate residues, all of that stuff. So, very nice. So I'm going to put this in a separate file since it's already fairly organized. Oh, there's a lot here. Okay. Yeah. Pretty important stuff, I think. I'm going to put this stuff here. You know what's funny? Is I went to the Tucson Bee Lab and I was looking specifically for stuff that my dad had done or worked with at the Madison lab. And the Madison lab had been shut down. And all of the research and all the like quarterly reports was sent to the Tucson lab. I couldn't find anything. It's almost like what was researched in the 60s. It's just being like immaterial. They don't need it anymore, I guess. Or so some of the theory behind that, from those of us that like to think about things, you know, I was talking to Jerry Loper, and Jerry did a lot of pollen research, And what he had mentioned, and there's a rubber plant that they started replanting over or planting over in Texas. And I had heard that the USDA lab, in fact, when I was there, they were talking about that's what they were working on, was doing pollen research with this rubber plant. And I can't remember the name off the top of my head. I think it starts with a G, kind of, I don't know, kind of like a, you know, of course it's a Latin sounding name. And my mind is gone right now. But, you know, I mentioned it to Jerry because he was asking me, oh, have you been to the lab? What are they talking about lately? And I said, oh yeah, there's some really cool, you know, rubber plant that the bees absolutely love. I'm all excited. I was wanting to get, I still want to get a few plants of it. And Jerry just, he was, I did that research. I did research on that. Why do they have to do that over again? And so literally, the thought is that, you know, let's throw away history so that we can do it again and get more funds for doing it again, doing it over. And maybe that's why the labs are being shut down. Maybe there's records kept somewhere else. And those records kept in those other locations are like going, these people got that money for this project, you know, 30 years ago. What are they doing? You know, and they got the same answer. Why did we give them more money? So, you know, I know some people get upset like we need our labs more than ever before, but there's a lot of private institutions and universities doing a lot of great research. Maybe the government is just thinking, you know, maybe DC is saying, you guys aren't doing anything new. We're just going to shut you down. Who knows? I mean, this is just me blabbing. I don't know. I never pretend to know what the government is up to. Ever. But the only thing I can say is I would never take government money. If something happened to my bees, like if something, you know, if I had losses, it's my fault. If you have a bad environmental year, like, you know, no rain, that's like my big thing. No rain. You got to feed them. You know, don't keep all your eggs in one basket. That's what my dad always said. I remember Dad always having, there for a while, I mean, he was doing all kinds of odd jobs on the side just to make ends meet. While the bees, you know, sometimes had bad years, or we had a mite, you know, a new mite come in and wiped out, you know, part of your bee inventory, you know, for making honey. And, you know, that's what beekeepers rely on is pollination services and honey. And, you know, if you don't make it, you got to have a backup plan. You got to make money somewhere else until the bees snap back out of it. My grandfather actually was an excellent cabinet maker. He made cabinets when the bees weren't supplying an income for the family. I can't get over the amount of people who think that this is okay. Well, my bees didn't do okay this year, or I had, I had issues, I maybe maybe you had issues, family issues, and then you didn't pay attention to your bees and your bees died, but you're still asking for this handout. And I'm not okay with that. So I just found out, there's quite a few people doing it that I know, and I'm just so embarrassed. This handout process. I'm sitting here complaining about people asking for handouts, wanting free bee removals. And then I turn around and I'm seeing beekeepers with their hands out asking the government for money. This is not a society. This is not a way society can sustain itself, sadly. Is there an answer? I don't know. But yeah, it's a scary world. So my idea is you don't, repeat history. You try to educate yourself about it so that you can make better decisions in the future. So let's move forward even though we are looking backwards. Does that make sense? So this is going to be a lot of fun, going through these type of papers. And this here, let me see what this one is here. Probably something more about fire ants, but we're going to take a look at it. Ooh, I guess not. This is another fun one. This is by Malcolm Stanford and Warren B. Johnson from Gainesville, Florida. And it is about a Florida honeybee feeding study using the Beltsville bee diet. And we were just talking about the government's USDA program. So Beltsville's USDA program developed a bee diet. And so this is a feeding study done by, well, it says Gainesville, so I'm going to assume the University of Florida, that's in Gainesville. They have a bee lab there. Excellent program. Excellent bee lab. And so this was in Bee Science magazine, January 1991. Awesome. I'm going to put that, I think we'll put that in just the articles, and then we'll put that under nutrition. So this one here is the 1981 annual report on almond pollination research, sponsored by the Almond Board of California. So that's the 81 report. This is the 83 report. Whew, buddy, that's thick. Okay, so these are almonds again. And then this one is a survey of factors affecting pollination and yield in almonds. So, again, all on almonds. Okay. Maybe I should start separating some of this stuff now. I mean, like I have the fluvalinate pile separate, and then I got this on almonds. So I think I'm going to go take a peek. I know I had got some of those banker's boxes for doing filing. So I'm going to take a look at those, and then I'm going to read through all of these. This was, I thought, was kind of cool. So this is like an example written for a contract between and it doesn't have it's from the 80s. All I know is it's from the 80s. It doesn't say like what date, but this is to whom it may concern. This document will serve to confirm that property owner at this address and beekeeper, apiary owner of whatever address have mutually agreed to allow the beekeeper to locate an apiary on the property of said landowner Be it also established hereby that the beekeeping artifacts, hives, contents, etc., do not compose part of the property as permanent fixtures. So in other words, they're just there. They belong to the beekeeper, not to the property owner. In the event of sale or rent of such lands whereupon the apiary is situated, the said beekeeping artifacts, hives, contents, etc., do not become part of the lands for sale or rent, but shall remain the property of the beekeeper. Date and time with a couple witnesses. You got to cover your butt on stuff. You got to. I don't know if this is hold up enough, but at least it like basically says that if you're purchasing land and there's already bees on that land, and those bees don't belong to you if the contract was with the previous homeowner or landowner and a different bee and a beekeeper, and those bees did not belong to that landowner. So that's kind of a cool thing, to have. Again, not sure how it would hold up in today's world. Horrible. But yeah. Oh, and here's a weird one. Oh, here's some more stuff. Okay, we're going to do almonds right here. Flowers dying to save salmon. Here's an article. This is another article thing. So I think I'm going to put articles, go with articles. That's an article to read to figure out what I'm going to do with it, or where to put it. So we have this one here is a guide to tracheal mite treatments. Pretty cool. I'm going to put that. I am going to put separate thing if we can do tracheal mites separately. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of stuff about tracheal mites in there. So, okay. This is kind of interesting. This one is interesting. So I was listening to a TED Talk, and I consistently quote Dr. Marla Spivak in her TED Talk, where she says something about prior to World War II, we had 4.5 million colonies in the United States. And then after World War II, we had 2.5 million. And basically talking about the issues with chemicals, the chemical introduction. And then here I am just flipping through this certification requirement model certification plan being put out. There's no date on it, by Dr. Al Dietz at the Beltsville Lab. But it says approximately 2,000 commercial beekeepers own 40% of the 4,200,000 honeybee colonies in the United States. The remainder of the honeybee colonies are owned by 200,000 beekeepers who each own an average of less than 5 colonies. Since these commercial beekeepers provide almost 2 million colony rentals for crop pollination, produce about 60% of the United States honey and beeswax, and supply other beekeepers with the new queens and packages, they play a vital agricultural role. I believe this is from the 90s. And so, maybe I've been misquoting her? Yeah. Pretty sure this mentions in the 90s, so. Lots to read, lots to understand. And when you're listening to YouTube videos, don't believe everything you hear. Gosh, there was something the other day that I overheard on a YouTube video, and I was like, huh? No, that's not true. Just because it didn't happen in your lifetime doesn't mean it never happened. So yeah, it's oh my goodness. Yeah, this is another questionnaire pertains to the United States International. Okay. All right. Definitely have some work here to figure out where I'm putting everything. And so it'd be nice to like, as I'm going through each of the stacks of paperwork to get it organized, feel free to put in the comments something that you might want to hear more about. So hope you enjoyed this little teeny section of organizing some really old bee data information. So thanks for watching.